Okay, my friends, it's Roger, Mudfossil University. I'm going to make like a 2-minute quick appeal to Paul Wallace to get in touch with me. Somehow, I need to talk to you about your information or my information about the things that you're looking into. And you're looking into the Anunnaki in this particular video. I know you do a ton of videos, and they're all very, very good. And you have an excellent way of presenting them, much superior to mine. Now, but I do have some very, very valid information. And I'd love to have you look at it. And I just want to play just a quick minute or two of what he's saying, because I have things that relate 100% to what he's saying that change everything. Now listen.
Elasticity in the word's meaning.
He's talking about Anunnaki.
Well, again, we have to go back to the roots of the word and ask, why is it used that way? And why does it behave like a plural? When you look at its component parts, the word Elohim means the powers or the powerful ones. Now, when you read Genesis translating the word that way, the texts change and suddenly line up with the Sumerian texts. And one by one, they confirm each other's stories. And it's very clear they're not stories about gods. They're stories about the powerful ones in the Bible and the sky people, the Anunnaki, in the Sumerian tablets. But is there any material evidence that a non-human ruling presence ever occupied planet Earth? One might reasonably ask, why have no physical remains of Anunnaki been found? Firstly, I would note that the more we dig up ancient sites, the greater a diversity of ancient peoples we're finding. If you think about the hobbits that were found in Indonesia, we called them hobbits, I think the proper name is Homo florensis, or the giants of Noble County, or the red-haired giants of North America, or the long skulls of Paracas, etc. There's a great range of people.
Now, here's the key. I don't know why nobody will contact me. I had this for 10 years. 5 years I've had a DNA certified and CAT scanned and all that stuff giants. I'm going to show you what I have. Okay, Paul, if you contact me, buddy, I got a ton of stuff now. I can't get access to this. But this is, as far as I'm concerned, this was some form of an alien that was here on Earth, or was grown here on Earth. I have no idea. But that's not what you consider your normal looking head. Now, I understand very well this is the skin peeling off. This is the basement layer under the skin. These little pocket holes are what this called interstitium holes. There's a fluid substance in each one of these little pockets that lets your flesh move around. These are eyes. These are, I mean, this is close to what happens to. They crystallize different. Everything crystallizes different. It depends on what the initial chemistry is. Look at the throat. Look at the throat down here. I would love to be able to investigate this, but the guy that had it, by the time I got back to him, he had sold it and it's gone. I have another picture of this. Hold on. All right, there's the same head. Look at this. It looks like it has a double set of ears and an ear hole over here or something. I don't know. Look at that. Very, very strange. And I don't know, that could even be a horn. I have no idea. I didn't ever touch this. I can't remember how I ran across this picture, whether he sent it to me or... But... Now, you can see it's in a matrix of something. I don't know what that is. And I don't know what is surrounding it, like it might be like a spacesuit or something. I have no idea, but his neck seems to be coming through there, and it seems to be a fairly long neck. And that is not your normal looking head. I've never seen anybody walking around that has a head like that. Now, what you want to look at is this bulge of the cheek. I've seen other ones that had like a real bulgy looking cheek, and I think that's part of the original structure, is that bulgy cheek. All right, here's that cheek looking thing. Now, I'm going to show you something. This is what I've learned from really understanding anatomy. This was real. You see that circle right there? Look at it carefully. You see a circle? You see that ball right in the center and all these little spikes sticking out of it? You see this circle over here? You see it? You see the little ball in the center? That is where your cheek muscles invest into the bone. There's a bone right under there with a ton of little holes. And there's a ton of little anchors that are in that come down to the cheek so that he can lift his cheek up and his jaw. This is what pulls your jaw up and so forth. This is the stuff you learn from really, really looking at mud fossil anatomy. It's just obvious. There's no question about it, to my mind anymore. If anybody will take a look at it, we can get to the bottom of it. But I fully understand it now. And all these little pockets are from interstitium, the fluid-filled bags in the interstitium, which allows your flesh to move around and come back. All right, here's another one. I got another shot of this with somebody standing next to it, and I think they're just about the same size as the head, maybe a little bigger. But this is wherever you see lichen. Lichen grows where the iron depleted blood, or the oxygen depleted, FeO2 is that. FeO3 is where you're going to see moss grow, the fluffy looking moss. Hold on. All right, I looked into this. I contacted her and she sent me a bunch of pictures. And this is 100%, in my mind, certain this was real. And it was alive and has all of those tiny little pockets in it, which are from the interstitium. And the skull is eroded in the back. And you can see, I believe, this has been a while ago. And here, I'll show you a couple other shots. And she doesn't want to be identified. So a lot of these people don't want to be known. So I just go about my business. This one I got from Sib Sibley. You can see the holes. I mean, that's what it was. Now, I don't know how old that is. It's all distorted out. And it could even be just a regular, normal human. I can't say. But I can show you some other ones that I can guarantee are not normal humans. All right, I can tell you this one freaked me out. This was my friend Kim. And when I saw it, everybody said, oh, that's just a carved thing. And I said, well, let me take a look at it. When I looked at it, I said, absolutely not. And I'm going to show you why I can say absolutely not. First of all, different skin has different texture, and it changes differently. The eyes change differently. I showed you how muscles invest, and let's look at the architecture of the neck and the back and see if we can find any blood. All right. You see that? That's the back of the head. That's a crack. That is red blood. Trust me. I understand these things very well. This was a red-blooded creature. There's a crack in the head, and it is losing blood, obviously. It was laying on his back, apparently, the face sticking straight up. The face is perfect. The back had flutes, and it was laying on the back like that. The red blood ran out the back of that crack. Okay, I know this stuff extremely well. It's exactly what I would expect to see is reddish blood in this area, which is flush with blood right around here. Now, you say, oh, somebody glued this on the guy's head. No, this is like, it's like a bill. It's like a crest. And that had flutes in the back and blood coming right out of it. So you explain that to me. I looked at this very closely. I have some extremely, well, let me hold on. All right, that's the transition between exactly what I would expect to see on the surface, which they would call that like glazed feldspar, basically. And this is wet, I'm sure. Well, I know it is. And this is where it transitions into the crest. Now, it's a different sort of material you can see. However, I'm not sure how different it is. I don't know. All I can say is what I can see here. And it was the whole thing turned into basically what you see here, this almost the same. So it got invaded by the same kind of minerals. That's why the face and the beak and the nose and the eyes and everything looks basically like the same sort of material. It's just a tint of difference. And where you see the transitions, where you have blood and so forth, then you're going to see a pretty good difference in the chemistry. You see, looking down, there's the eye. There's the separation from nose or beak or whatever you want to call it. Now I have a goose here, and I've shown it about a bazillion times, and it has a separation too. You see, you really can't, it's hard for you to see, but it's right there. This is what they call feldspar. It's a black and yellow, white and red and brown looking fabricy, same as this. They call this kind of stuff feldspar. Now you can obviously see the difference between the two materials and the separation, and there's a little bit of red blood. This is the different tissue of the eye. That's why it's all different colors. And the same with this. That's the eye. And this has a feather pattern in the back. But this, it died in a great flood like this. Now, I don't know about, some of these look like they might have been dead and or petrified prior to this, because they don't seem to have, several of them seem to have no pattern of like being soaked in a flood. I'm just looking at what I'm looking at. We got a lot of research to do, my friends. All right, this I believe, I'm going to show you what I think this was. This I think had like heavy, thick feathers or hair coming out of there. You see these? You see these? Something came up and went over the back, and I think I know exactly what it is, and I think I can show you exactly what this creature was, and it was not unknown. This is about as close as I can get. You see the crest, you see these locks coming down, you see the nose, you see the eyes. It would have been cut off right here. I don't know, that's about as close as I can get. But this has the, you know, it's a naga, it's a white naga. Glycon, the white naga, once worshipped at Tomis, now in Romania on the Black Sea. Now, this person has, Kim has this head up in Washington State, up by Mount Shasta, and I believe it was found up there at Mount Shasta. And I get a lot of details to come up with. There's so much to do, it's just overwhelming, I'm telling you, because everybody's been denied anybody to even look at this stuff. They have these, I get swamped with things. I'm only showing you the cream of the crop. All right, this is on the side. Here's the artery, and there's the vein. The red is always the artery, black is always the vein, and you have to have blood service and everything. If you don't find those, you can't find it, then you're done. I find them in every one of the ones I present. All right, here's the bottom of the throat, and this is the chin sticking down this way. I believe right here is the throat going up, and this right here is a forked tongue. That's what it looks like to me. And then you have all your blood vessels and so forth coming up, and your tendons and the red and the black of the blood. And you have to find the blood vessels and so forth, or you're done. I have a variety, and I'm talking about a good sized variety of different types of humanoid type of feet. And that is 100% just like a human foot. The tibia would be here, the fibia that sits on the side is here, and they all break off just like that. So they had the big bone we have, and then the little one that sits on the side. Now, this is a strap that runs up from the heel. That's the strap that runs up from the heel on the spring foot we have. We have spring foot ones. They're nothing like this tendons, absolutely nothing like them. And that is that heel. Let me show you another shot of that. Now this is my friend Kim has these, and I have them too, but she's got them in eroded conditions. I looked at this extremely carefully, and that is that strap that runs up to, the saddle is here, the bone sits in that saddle, this runs up to that, the leg bone coming down. This is springs now instead of feet and tendons. What happens is the toes were out here. As those push up, this thing loads this spring, so it uncoils the spring. At the same time, this part of the spring lifts up, which comes up against this bumper and pulls this cable, which runs all the way up to here. It pulls that cable in, this pulls into that cavity, so you have a spring loaded here, then this being pulled by this, which is rocked up this way, pulled down, so now you have another spring that wants to restore. This wants to restore. And that's the way your foot works. It's a double springed restoring device. And she's got them in, and she's got a whole entire leg like this. Here's the same one. Now this is some kind of, well, it's not the same foot. It's a different foot, but it's the same style. It's a spring foot. And this is like the tendinous material. There's all kinds of different, they look like they were machined and bolted on there, and then they grew the flesh inside the machined parts. I don't know. I can't say that's not true. You can't say it either. Something is going on here that we have no clue about. Nobody cares to look into it. It's been years and years and years I've been showing this. 10 years. Not a single university will look into it, so it's up to us. I don't know how to proceed with this, but I'm hoping Paul Wallace will have somebody that, or knows somebody, because nobody, I think I'm so cut off that I don't think anybody even gets my stuff. I've been so put on spam lists everywhere, literally everywhere. The first academic I contacted put me on a spam list. First one. And they come very good size. This is not mine, and I don't even know where it is, but I have one here on my property that I have had DNA certified. The tip of the finger, which is from here out of the thumb, is 3 feet long. It still has the fingernail and the fingerprints on it. I've shown it a bazillion times. So this stuff is all over the earth. It's refused to be looked at. That is the key. That's the problem.